I want to show pictures from this book because the art is good, but I also don't want to get sued. So please enjoy seeing a bunch of public domain stock art in my review.
Argo Font Book Review. Argo Font Book Review.
Kristy Thomas gets in trouble at school on the first Tuesday of 7th grade. As a result, she's late getting home to watch her little brother, David Michael. David Michael screams because he has to use the bathroom, so Kristy decides to ignore him. After this, there's a montage of Kristy being the best older sister babysitter ever, which is sweet. I just find it weird that it's prefaced by Kristy being a total jerk to a little kid. Mom needs an emergency babysitter for tomorrow. She makes a bunch of phone calls trying to find someone. Somehow, half the kids in town are busy with sports practice, even though school just started yesterday. As for the adults, come to think of it, Mom doesn't ask any adults if they can watch her kids for the afternoon. Sounds like she needs some mom friends. Kristy gets the great idea for the Babysitters Club. She and her babysitting friends will have a dedicated phone number that people can call. That way, no one's forced to make a bunch of last-minute phone calls like Mom did. They'll have regular meetings, make lots of money. It'll be fun. Kristy plans out the details with her friends. Marianne Spear is shy and immature. Claudia Kishi is an artist and daring who wears fancy makeup and clothes her parents don't approve of. Claudia recommends Stacey McGill as the fourth member. Stacey is a gorgeous, tall blonde who just moved in from New York City. The four girls decide to have club meetings in Claudia's room, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 5:30. The odd part is that the Babysitters Club would not have solved Mom's problem. Remember, Mom's babysitting emergency was on Tuesday night for Wednesday afternoon. The entire episode happened in between club meetings, so Mom could never have called them for help. Oh well, it's still a good idea for a club. They make flyers and phone calls and advertise on Facebook. Advertise in the local newspaper. They make up titles for themselves, like Kristy is the president forever because she's amazing. Claudia is vice president because we need to keep her happy so she'll let us use her phone. If she ever quits the club, they're going to be in trouble. Marianne is secretary, and Stacey is treasurer. Twice, Claudia pulls out snacks for them to eat. Stacey gets extremely nervous and claims she can't have any because she's on a diet. Kristy gives Stacey a hard time about this because Kristy has no problem being rude to a girl she just met 10 minutes ago. Mom's boyfriend Watson comes over for dinner. Kristy is purposely mean to him. Mom gets madder and madder at Kristy's rudeness. The tipping point is when Kristy suggests that Watson is such a bad parent, he doesn't even know what Rainbow Bright is. I'm super surprised they didn't change Rainbow Bright to SpongeBob SquarePants or something. This book came out 20 years after the Rainbow Bright TV show was canceled. It's no longer an insult if a parent doesn't know what Rainbow Bright is. In fact, I'm kind of surprised 12-year-old Kristy knows about it. Kristy is sent to her room where she reflects on things and admits that Watson is a much better parent than her deadbeat father. Kristy writes her mom an apology note, and Mom writes a sweet note back. The girls have fun at their first BSC meeting and they all get jobs. Stacey gets hearts in her eyes when she thinks about meeting Kristy's older brother, Sam. It's a little weird because Sam prank calls the club multiple times during the meeting. You'd think that would make Stacey less enthusiastic about Sam, but no, she totally has a crush on him, and they half flirt with each other during the entire sitting job. Kristy is stuck watching a pair of wild dogs. I guess a no pets rule would be too simple, because Kristy creates a club notebook to deal with the dog situation. She forces the other girls to write a summary about every single babysitting job they ever have. Did I mention reading the notebook is mandatory? I'd complain more about the club notebook, but I'm actually really happy with it in this version of the book because Claudia has normal handwriting. Yes! In the original books, Claudia's handwriting is impossible to read. Claudia has a totally irrelevant babysitting job with wild kids who will never be seen again in the series. Marianne babysits Watson's kids, Karen and Andrew. They have a scary run-in with the weird woman next door. Mom forces her kids to dress up before announcing that Watson asked her to marry him. Kind of. Watson asked her to consider marrying him, and she said, maybe. That's not a good sign. If I were Watson, I'd be a little worried that she said, I'll think about thinking about it, instead of, yes, of course I'll marry you. The Babysitters Club plans a party for the weekend, but it's canceled by drama. Stacey lies and pretends she's out of town. Marianne's dad gets mad that she's not saving enough for college. Richard, calm down. She's a 7th grader who makes $2 an hour babysitting. Claudia's parents threaten to cancel the club because her grades are so terrible. Didn't school start last week? How have her grades come in already? Watson has an emergency with his ex-wife. I half suspect he's faking the emergency just to make Kristy's mom jealous. You don't want to marry me? Fine. Did I mention I'm still hanging out with my ex? Kristy comforts Karen and Andrew. They bond over the fact that they're from divorced families. Karen and Kristy legitimately like each other, and they think it'd be pretty cool if they became stepsisters. Kristy talks with her mom about it, and Mom later agrees to marry Watson. I'm not saying Kristy is the only reason she agrees to marry Watson, but it does kind of sound like she was waiting for Kristy's approval. Marianne and Claudia solve their problems with their parents off-screen when nobody's paying attention. The club members get into a fight when Kristy accuses Stacey of lying to them. Tensions are high until the next BSC meeting where Kristy apologizes. Stacey confesses she has diabetes, and she's surprised that the other girls aren't bothered by that at all. They celebrate the club's success with a fun sleepover. The end. Post-book follow-up. I was reluctant to read this book because I'm not a fan of graphic novels. The Hardy Boys graphic novels are particularly bad. I'm glad that this graphic novel is legitimately good. I can see why the graphic novels are such a big hit. I obviously prefer reading the original books, but those books have been out of print for decades now. The graphic novels are pretty much the only way that 2010's kids got to experience the Babysitters Club. As far as I can tell, a lot of them don't know that there was an original book series. They think the Babysitters Club is just an awesome series of graphic novels. The artwork is great. The narration is kept to a minimum, and there are several pages without any dialogue at all. The pictures are enough to convey Kristy's emotions. I like how the girls change their hairstyles and clothes every day, instead of always looking the exact same. The only thing that bugs me about the artwork is Stacey. There's a horizontal line by the top of her nose, and I don't know what that is. It connects her eyes across her nose, so what is it? This book is a chapter shorter than the original. I don't know why. It's not like there was a recap chapter for them to leave out. Is the book perfect? No. I thought the Babysitters Club planning chapters were slow and boring. I also thought there were some subplots which got dropped. Like, there's a subplot about Claudia taking babysitting jobs after hours. We introduce it, and then it never gets mentioned again. Similarly, the subplot about Claudia's parents and Marianne's dad, they're introduced and then just kind of given one panel of resolution. I would say the book does a great job with the Mom and Watson storylines, which form the emotional core of the book, and the book is overall so good, it's hard to imagine it being much improved. I checked just now, I gave the original book a 5 out of 10 in my review 5 years ago. Gosh, I guess I was really kind of in a bad mood when I read that book, or I was a harsher reviewer back then, because I'm giving Babysitter's Club graphic novel number 1, Kristy's Great Idea, a 9 out of 10. Why is there a 4-point difference when it's the same basic story? I don't know.